Now let's go over what to do when we're on defense here, because that's a lot of what gets the attention with the Cowboys too, as well as their offense. I mean, they got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. They have a couple of big names. We got Ezekiel Elliott, who's a big name, but you're not a big player anymore.
Well, I mean, he's your goal line, third down kind of guy now. Like, he's not the guy you want to be rushing the ball.
But he is the guy rushing the ball. That's the problem.
That's the problem. Like, he's not. I mean, granted, he's not a Derrick Henry. I guess that's what I can say.
Yeah. He's more of a Derrick Henry. But yeah, I mean, here's what they're looking at so far with the rush attack. So for those who may be unaware, if you guys don't follow everything going on with the Cowboys in the offseason, Tony Pollard signed with the Tennessee Titans. So he's been their, leading rusher the last couple of years. He's gone. And the Cowboys basically, as we're just saying, replaced him by signing Ezekiel Elliott, who played last year in the Browns, the Patriots, and had his worst season as his decline has continued. He's gotten progressively worse each year the last couple of years. I mean, let's be honest. He's a little older. He's a little slower. That's what's happening. He's losing what made him special. And when I say losing, I mean it's lost.
That's way gone.
Now, I will say this. For some reason, Ezekiel Elliott always finds some magic against the Giants. I'm not sure what it is about the Giants. So, I'll give him that respect. He's, he's no Boston Scott, but he seems to make his best moments against the Giants for some reason. Here's where their running backs are in the season. Rico Dowdle. I was going to come to him. Dowdle.
I was going to say.
Doodle.
Rico Doodle Dandy.
He's half poodle. The new designer breed. 23 carries, 88 yards, 3.8 yards per carry average. I don't know why I always have trouble saying his name. Ezekiel Elliott, 19 carries, 62 yards, a 3.3 yards per carry average, and 1 touchdown. On the season so far, all three games here, 3.6 yards per carry is the average. That's really bad, guys. Yeah. That's 29th in the NFL. They're also only averaging 73.7 yards per game overall rushing. That's 29th also. So, yeah, they can't run the ball worth squat. And honestly, it's probably a combination of two things. One, their running backs suck. I'm just going to point blank say it. But it's also, that line's not what it used to be, guys. It used to be a stellar line. Now it's like an average line. Which, don't get me wrong, again, we would take average on a heartbeat. We've had the last couple of years. I don't mean that as a disrespect to the line. They've had a great line for a while. But it's not as good as it used to be. They lost a couple players this offseason. When you lose 2 of your starting linemen, there's going to be a decline potentially. And that's what you got. Their passing game, though, is their main attack. But it's also not as efficient as it's been in the past. Dak Prescott on the year has a 63.5 completion percentage, 851 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So he's put up good stats, which is what Dak does. Let's be honest there. Yeah. Dak, love him or hate him, and obviously we're all Giants fans. We hate the Cowboys, so we hate Dak Prescott overall. But he puts up stats. He does do that. So. Receiver-wise, CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches, 218 yards, and a touchdown. No league neighbors, but he's still having a solid year. Jalen Tolbert's kind of become their second-best receiver right now. 7 catches, 94 yards. The guy who's supposed to be their second-best, Brandon Cooks, 8 catches, 75 yards, and 1 touchdown. So, on paper, not bad stats, guys. And they're top 10 in the league in passing yards, but they're also just averaging 6.5 yards per pass, 20th in the league. And their sack percentage is Dak's getting sacked on 6.72% of passing plays, which is just 12th in the league. Now, I know 12th doesn't sound that bad, but again, guys, this was a top 5 offensive line for years.
Almost a decade.
Yeah. Number 12 out of 32. You're right in that middle range. That 12 to 18 range is right in that middle. So they're like one of the better mediocre teams.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially with Dak, his whole career has had a good offensive line, a great top tier offensive line. Yep. His running back plays had a top offensive line. The receivers and that offense had time to go out and get open.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with that anymore.
But I do think it's a combination of the line being bad, like you're saying. I think, and I should say bad, but not as good. I'll word it that way. Because again, they're not bad. I don't want to make it seem like this is just Giants fan hate, because it's not. It's legit stats are there. Like, the line is not as good as it used to be. But I do think part of it's also the abysmal running game. Like, if you're not, like, honestly, are you afraid of Ezekiel Elliott?
No.
Like, no. Zeke and Rico, I want them to run the ball. Absolutely want them to, you know? And that's where the game plan's got to be. You need them to rush the ball because they suck at it. You got to force them to run the ball. You got to do what you can to go ahead and take away the pass as best you can. And the key thing is, we got to try to repeat what we did last week, because the Giants have been sacking the quarterback at a very high rate. Not just last week, but on the season. They've been doing very well at that. The Giants have a 13.42 sack percentage, guys. That's second best in the league. When's the last time we said we were second best in the league in something, first off? Can we take a moment and enjoy that?
Jeez, I don't even know if we can say that for the week.
Seriously. Take that in your pipe and smoke it, Wink Martindale. We're good at something still without you. But, you know, by forcing them to run the ball, it has two advantages, really. First, you slow down the clock, because the Giants can't win in a shootout, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I know there's been the Daniel Jones fans are coming out of the woodworks the last couple of weeks because he didn't have horrible games. Like, oh, look, he's not so bad.
Like, maybe, you know, our shiny new toy has been looking fantastic.
And the much better offensive line, which, again, I don't care what makes him look good. I want him to look good, but he hasn't looked good. He's looked okay. But what I'm saying is that, does anybody really have faith that he can win in a shootout? Does anyone really think that if Dak Prescott is throwing the ball around, that Daniel Jones can keep up with him? And I'm not even trying to be rude when I say it. I'm just trying to be legit. Like, let's call it like what it is. We have to force them to run the ball to slow down the game. You want a long drive on both sides. We'll get to our offense in a minute. You want to slow down this game as best you can, because that's the best way to try to prevent this from getting way out of hand. And listen, I say way out of hand, like, I don't feel like, oh, that's a little negative. Like, yeah, first off, we're 1 and 2. I'm going to be a little negative. I can't help myself. But the other thing is that,
look what Dallas has done to DJ.
Look, I'm saying, look at the last 2 years alone.
Yeah.
That's what I got to look at, because we got destroyed, guys.
And if you want to argue, like, we could argue about DJ, how great he played, 2 years ago. What did the Cowboys do to him? Absolutely obliterated him.
Yeah.
Like, it was not good.
Yeah, it's not pleasant, guys. What's happened with the Cowboys and Giants lately, and I really want to win this one. And don't get me wrong, I want to win every game. Obviously, that's what fandom is. But this is a team that I really, really want to beat. Anytime we face the Cowboys and the Eagles, those two teams, I want to beat the crap out of them. And especially this go around here, because we beat the Eagles last time we faced them. That was a little nice. We haven't taken a chunk out of the Cowboys in a while. It's time to take the chunk out. So, like I said, that's got to be the game plan. Force this team to run. Keep Dak Prescott under pressure where he doesn't feel comfortable.
Under pressure.
Because it's our best bet, guys. Especially because we have some injuries at the cornerback position. And we'll talk about the injuries later on. But we got some injuries. We do have a guy I think might be coming back this week, which will help. But we do have some injuries there. So we got to force Dak to be uncomfortable, to move around. We got to force this offensive line of the Cowboys there to, kind of show that they're not as good as they used to be.
And listen, Dak has not played his best football under pressure. Like, nope. He's played some pretty terrible football. Like, he has shined in some moments. So can't take everything away from him being a Giants hater right now, or being a Dallas hater right
listen, now. You can say what you want about Dak, because he's not that good. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it point blank myself. He has had a top 5 offensive line his entire career before this year. He's had top receivers his entire career. And that's actually me giving credit to the Cowboys, is the weird part when I say it that way. I'm kind of disrespecting Dak, but I'm actually giving kudos to the Cowboys. They've set him up for success.
They have.
But how much as he's choked in the playoffs, I can't respect the man for that. But I want to see what he does now this year without the weapons. And the offense is not looking as good. He can't seem to carry this offense because he's a B-tier quarterback. He's not an A-tier quarterback. And don't get me wrong, we would take a B-tier quarterback in a heartbeat. He's better than Daniel Jones. I know it's going to kill some people to hear that, but he is. So...
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.